Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HA Network. Monday, July 31st, as we are just a day away from August now, and standing alongside Kevin Coleman, August will bring on football camp. Just 2 weeks away now, and I know John Kovach is itching just as badly as we are to really get back into that swing now as the summer season winds down, Kevin.
Yeah, Frank, it's almost crazy to think how fast the summer's gone by here. And you're right, only 2 weeks away from football camp. It's crazy to think that, just yesterday it felt like it was months and months away. We just finished up the spring season in the FCX, so it's pretty crazy how fast the summer really goes by.
It has, and we've had a lot of fun this summer. Of course, a lot of great youth baseball going on. We got to go down to Grip It and Rip It. We've seen some local lacrosse club teams that have done well nationally. It's also the trade deadline today, Kevin. We're both big Yankees guys. More likely to be in a Yankee jersey by the end of the day. You, Darvish, or Sonny Gray?
I want to say Sonny Gray. But right now, it just seems like the talk between the Yankees and the Athletics has just gone to a stalemate because two of them just keep talking. Yu Darvish is not going to end up in pinstripes, unfortunately. But I actually don't see Yu Darvish getting dealt, to be honest. I think Sonny Gray is going to be dealt. If it's not the Yankees, I think he's going to end up with the Milwaukee Brewers because they are now starting to be a team that's really getting in there, putting in some good talks with the Athletics. So time will tell. Only 2 hours away until the end of the trade deadline. So hopefully, for the Yankees' sake, they can pick up Sonny Gray because now they have Jaime Garcia, who they just picked up yesterday, which was, I thought, a nice pickup for them. Another lefty throwing the rotation there from the Minnesota Twins. And now you get Sonny Gray, if they can, add a nice right-hander. That's that really boosts that starting rotation because right now that's the one Achilles heel I think the Yankees have.
Well, and if somehow Masahiro Tanaka can return to the form that we saw from him on Friday night, that would be pretty impressive. Obviously, what a great night it was for him. I thought originally the Jaime Garcia maybe was going to be a sign and then quickly re-deal in order to help get Gray because we know they're not going to get rid of Frazier or Glenbar Torres out of their farm system. So very interesting. But you know what? Brian Cashman is a very crafty and he's a very, I think he's proven to be a very successful GM now over the past few years. He has really distinguished himself among the top. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe he finds a way to get the Yankees' hat in the ring for Darvish if he can't just shake Billy Beane of getting off their top two prospects.
Oh, right, and I fully agree. I think Cashman, he's done a terrific job, especially with dealing with these young players and kind of realizing that it's time to, kind of start over for the Yankees. And he's done a great job of, I think, adding Todd Frazier, David Robertson, and Conley from the White Sox. I think that really gave the Yankees a boost of confidence because if you remember, going into the All-Star break, they were struggling. You had Aaron Judge, who was just coming off a strong first half of the season. Now he's in a slump. Yankees weren't playing that great. They were losing a bunch of games and going into the break. Now I think once they picked up those three guys from the White Sox, you could tell that the clubhouse is a lot more flexible. These guys are just having fun, and I think you're starting to see this Yankee team really enjoy having guys, especially like Todd Frazier, who we all know is great in the clubhouse as a veteran.
It'll be a lot of fun. Of course, the Yankees now winners not 6 in a row anymore. They lost yesterday, but they have won 9 of their past 12, so doing much better since the All-Star break. But let's shift gears here, Kevin. A couple weeks ago, we'd gone on a little run. We had some questions going back and forth between each other. I know you have got one that I'm going to make you keep on the back burner for the B block.
Okay, that's fine.
I want to come out with you, though. We talked a little bit about this off the air, giving you a hint of what I'm going to say today, but of all the championship games we saw last year, okay, whether it was the Turkey Bowl, the basketball, hockey, field hockey, lacrosse, any of those championship games, which game stands out to you that you're most excited to see the rematch in the regular season of?
That's a great question because you look at all those championships we saw throughout all 3 seasons. We saw some very high drama games. There's a lot of fun to cover. I got to stick with the old rivalry between me and the Wilton Warriors. I got to go Richfield-Wilton because that game itself was just amazing to be a part of. You talk about a double overtime thriller. Both coaches were, running low on players at one point because of foul trouble. Technical fouls being thrown out. The scoreboard stopped working a couple times. The the crowd itself there at Fairfield University, I got to go with the Richfield-Wilton basketball final. Although I will say the Turkey Bowl was excellent, I thought. I'm excited for that again coming up this fall, but I got to go with the FCIAC basketball final between Richfield Tigers and the Wilton Warriors.
And the Turkey Bowl will always be a marquee game on the calendar, even when New Canaan or Darien, before this last decade where they have really proven to be at the top of not only the conference but the state, even when they're both middle of the pack, it was truly a rivalry game in the sense that it found a way to be close. The other one would pick up their game to match the rival's intensity. So that's always a good game. One thing that really stands out as well when you think about that Wilton-Ridgefield basketball game, the regular season matchup last year obviously was a lot of fun and had a lot of drama as well with the fans and the emotion they brought to it. Now, the one concern you might have is, well, are these programs going to be able to rebuild this year to replicate what they had last year? Or was that just a one-time class that really in a special year? Because keep in mind now, I think when we get into the winter season, the early favorite for the FCIAC is going to be Trinity Catholic.
Right, and I absolutely agree with you. I think Trinity is going to be a power horse this year, but you're right. I don't think we're going to see another FCIAC final like that between Richfield and Wilton, only because you look at that senior class both teams had. I mean, it was just unfair almost in a way. Wilton had a great class. You look at Richfield. I think Richfield, while both teams take a step back, Frank, I think Richfield is able to come back. I don't think they're going to be strong enough towards the end of the season. I would like to see them, they get McNamara back, which is a great sign, but I think Richfield and Wilton are going to take a step back, but I think Richfield is just a little better. They get that little bit of experience from the younger guys who really got some great playing time in the varsity level last year.
It was certainly a lot of fun, and you're right. There were just so many X factors to that game that made it a special atmosphere. Cap, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to circle back to this. We've got more questions and some local stories. That's coming up next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Celebrate summer with fresh made-to-order picnic boxes from Walter Stewart's Market. We have delicious summery selections from buttermilk fried chicken to grilled lemon chicken kebab, grilled shrimp Caesar salad wraps, or lobster salad rolls. Our easy-to-carry picnic boxes come with your choice of a meal, as well as a dessert, beverage, and utensils. Order online for simple pickup options. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and online at stewartsmarket.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the dock shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the dock shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN Network.
Back on the HAN Network, and Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman, we were just talking before the break about a couple of the championship rematches we're really looking forward to. Kevin, you also mentioned potentially the Ridgefield St. Joe's in girls soccer, if that could be a third year in a row. Boys soccer, coming off a tie between Greenwich and Trumbull, I think that match will be very interesting. I am really looking forward to Stanford and McMahon girls volleyball. I think you're going to have a lot of great athletes returning to both those teams, and they're both coming off the best year in program history. I want to see where they pick up. It's unfortunate looking at the spring season, though, that there just aren't as many sports that are as close as they should be at the top.
Oh, especially lacrosse.
That's really what we're saying there. Yeah.
Darien just too dominant. But you look in baseball, actually, you look at Ridgefield Wilton baseball. I think that's another key marquee matchup that you look at and say, okay, maybe those two teams can get back again. At the Harbor Yard and Bridgeport. I think that was a great game, very close. Billy Black pitched a remarkable game for Wilton to kind of get their revenge on Ridgefield a little bit. So that I think is going to be a lot of fun. But I think regardless, there are so many good matchups. And you're right, the Ridgefield St. Joseph's matchup for girls soccer, it'd be pretty cool to see that 3 years in a row. I think those are two programs that year in and year out always are competitive. They always have, players who are ready to come up, whether they're freshmen or sophomores, and when they're early on, they make, once they're upperclassmen, really get that experience. That's when you start to see it. I think those two programs are extremely strong. So I expect to see them perhaps playing each other again in the fall.
Well, let me ask you this now. Okay, team that's more likely to lose their respective conference championship, will it be the Darien boys lacrosse team or the Danbury wrestling team?
Oh, wow. That is a great question. It might be the best one you've asked me so far. I can't see Darien lacrosse losing. I just can't. I can't. And at the same time, you can't see Danbury losing. So that's a really tough question. I may have to say Danbury wrestling. What team would you choose? Because in a way, you can't, because both teams have just proven to be so dominant.
And I know that Coach Braymeyer and all the Blue Wave fans are going to say I'm playing the New Canaan side here. I actually think if one of them were more likely to lose the conference championship, it would be Darien, only because schools like Wilton and Greenwich are bringing back a lot of big players in lacrosse, especially when you factor in they're both going to have goalies that are coming back. I think Jack Fita is going to go toe-to-toe with Logan McGovern for the top scorer in the state. Andrew Calabrese for Wilton is going to be one of the best goalies in the state. I think there are enough little X factors in lacrosse that Darien could just be due for a stumble. And keep in mind, too, eventually this streak has to end.
Right.
54 games is ridiculous, and it's unprecedented, and it's one of the most incredible accomplishments we've seen in Connecticut sports in a long time. But that being said, Danbury, I just think, as good as Danbury has always been that good in wrestling and has just continued to dominate again and again, and they can afford to lose regular season matches and still get there. So for me, I think I would have to say Danbury is more likely, but I have been thinking about that one, that eventually one of these streaks has to end.
Right.
Which one's it going to be first?
And that's why it's such a tough question, because it's so impressive to watch. Danbury wrestling, this is a program that may never lose again. They're just so strong in that sport. But you look at Darien lacrosse. I mean, this year you thought maybe there'd be a team that would sneak up and beat them. New Canaan was so close. Greenwich came pretty close. Unfortunately, that FCAC final against Ridgefield was not close. But you're right. I think maybe a Wilton or a Greenwich, and maybe even if New Canaan, can get some big guys to come back for boys lacrosse, then yeah, I think there's a great chance that Darien will finally, that winning streak will end. But right now, I don't see either program losing, especially coming up in 2017, 2018.
What if I throw Greenwich swimming into the mix for you? How do you like that one?
I would say Greenwich swimming, because you actually have schools that have come toe-to-toe with them during the swimming season. Yes, they they have the great talent, but I think at the end of the day, you know, still all three programs are extremely strong. But I think if you throw Greenwich in there now, I may have to say Greenwich.
Are you sure you want to say Greenwich, who has won 10 straight FCIAC championships?
Well, look at Danbury and Greenwich.
Hold on.
Danbury and
10 straight FCIAC championships and 39 of the last 40.
That's just like Darien lacrosse and Danbury wrestling.
I don't know about that, dude. 39 of the last 40.
Still.
That's 4 decades of there only being one program with a champion. The only other team to win 2006, 2007 was New Canaan. New Canaan did beat Greenwich in the regular season last year, which I think will be another intriguing matchup this fall. But Kevin, 39 of the last 40 conference championships, they've won every one.
Listen, one of these three programs has to lose.
Eventually.
Has to lose eventually. I'm not saying I want it to happen, but it's going to happen. Is it going to happen this year? I'm going to say no. But is it going to happen in the next 5 years? Yes.
Former all-state wrestler and director Mike Suppy is saying no one in the FCIAC is going to beat Danbury.
And they're not. They're not.
He stands by Darien Lax too.
But again, all three programs are eventually going to. The streak is not going to continue forever.
I think Greenwich is the most likely to continue the streak right now. Danbury, on the off chance that some class or some miracle kid comes along to a program, Danbury wrestling could be in trouble. But Darien, I think Darien is just lacrosse is a sport where you have less control compared to the other two. Darien the most likely to lose. We're going to take one more break. I will let you ask your question, I promise, when we get right back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the summer clearance event. Going on now through July 31st.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
At Pure Barre Ridgefield, our tried and true method can shape every body and fit any schedule. Pure Barre is a total body workout using the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Sweat away the day and get lost in the music. Pure Barre Ridgefield, located at 86 Danbury Road. Like us on Facebook at Pure Barre Ridgefield.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Kevin Coleman, Frank Granito. And Frank, I got a question for you. So we're getting ready for football. It's coming up. Football camp starts in 2 weeks. We had Grip and Rip it a couple weeks ago. We were impressed by some of the FCIAC teams there. Besides Greenwich and St. Joe's, those are the two teams we've talked about a lot. We have a lot of high expectations for them. What's that one team in the FCIAC that's going to surprise a lot of people, raise some eyebrows this year for football?
I don't know that it will be a surprise. I think we're at a point in time in the conference now, Kevin, where there are your top 2 teams in New Canaan and Darien. They are on top of the mountain until someone other than each other can knock themselves off. Then there's a pack of 3 to 4 teams, I would say, who can legitimately win the not win the conference, but finish first in the conference and have a chance to win a state title. For me, those teams are certainly going to be St. Joe's, Greenwich, from what we saw at Grip It and Rip It. The next logical choice would be Ridgefield, coming off a great year, but even after going to a state championship game and losing to eventual #1 champion Darien, I think Ridgefield is taking a step back this year. We're both in agreement that it was a special class in 2017, and we're just not sure this junior, now rising senior grade is going to be as talented or deep to compete with some of the top programs. In my mind right now in the conference, the only other team that has a legitimate chance of competing at that level would be Trumbull. But Trumbull plays a very tough schedule, and we're going to learn week 1 just how good Trumbull really is when they host Greenwich in their opening game. A lot of hype surrounding Colton Nichols, the quarterback now who'll be replacing Johnny McElroy. Of course, he played in the U.S. for the U.S. national junior team last year in the big international tournament. We hear a lot about his arm, but what's he going to do when he starts facing true live pressure, as we've seen a lot of these FCX schools run? Marquise Woods, what are they going to get out of him this year? How much can they rely on him running the football? Remember, he had that great first half against Ridgefield last year, Kevin, but then almost went silent, and I would say an above average year where they really needed him to be great for Trumbull to succeed. Peter Reverta, there are talks that he might not be returning to the team in order to focus on lacrosse. There are a lot of questions right now and uncertainties surrounding the Trumbull football program. That, for me, would be the team that could potentially surprise you. Fairfield Ward is going to suffer after losing the quarterback. Fairfield Ludlow is a program in shambles, to put it bluntly. Central is going to be Central. Norwalk has got a couple of talented players who are going to emerge towards the top of the conference in the individual accolades department, but I just don't think that Norwalk can match up right now with the other teams. Brian McMahon, Danbury, they're still just programs that should be probably doing better than they are, but they're stuck as well in a rebuilding phase that's been lasting for what now? Could you say 15, 20 years, Mike? Does that seem about right on that rebuilding phase? So I just think the biggest problem with the FCIAC is the disparity top to bottom in the level of talent, and it's unfortunate we're seeing one of the best conferences across the board in every other sport limited to 4 or 5 teams each year now.
When you look at, you mentioned that week 1, how many great matchups there are in week 1. Let's look at Darien and New Canaan, both their matchups. Which team is more likely to lose?
I don't think either will lose. More likely to lose, I'm going to go with... I would go with...
I got him.
No, you didn't got me. You didn't get me. I just don't want to say it. I'd go with New Canaan, I think. I think St. Joe's is a tougher team compared to Darien playing Ridgefield. And I'm sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry, Coach. I think New Canaan is also replacing a lot of big pieces. One big question specifically for New Canaan right now is going to be in their secondary. Sean Knight has been out this offseason. He's dealing with some injuries sustained during the track season that he's nursing back to health. I think when he gets on the field, the secondary will have a little more consistency. But losing Tommy Root and Ryan O'Connell at the cornerback positions is big. Those are 2 tremendous athletes. They're some of the strongest players in the conference. They really allowed you to eliminate your #1 receivers. Jackson Apelt was a very intelligent, high football IQ player at the strong safety position and read the field very, very well. A kid like Teddy Greenspan, who fills in at times as a senior last year, it adds a lot of depth to a secondary that, with the way New Canaan blitzes and brings man pressure, allowed them to play true man-to-man coverage. Now you have a whole new group of young men, and I think they're capable of stepping up and filling these gaps, but it becomes very tricky week 1 when you have to go against Jared Malazzi, who's going to require double and triple coverage at times. Up front, they lose a lot off the D-line. How do you replace that and keep Jaden Sheardon limited and force St. Joe's into second and third and long situations? So there's some big questions there. It definitely helps bringing back Drew Pine. I think the offense will be okay, but defense is what wins championships. And in New Canaan right now, they're at a point where they need young men to step up quickly and do so. Darien is facing a lot of similar challenges, but as we mentioned before, playing against Ridgefield, I think there is more wiggle room for error for Darien week 1 in Tiger Hollow than there is New Canaan, but then you can also factor in playing at Tiger Hollow versus playing at Dunning.
Oh, there you go.
You know?
You got me. So, I mean, again, I think those week 1 matchups, all of them, I mean, there's just so many great week 1 matchups, but, I mean, it's too hard to pick a favorite, I feel like, in a way, because there's so many intriguing matchups. I got to say, my personal, one game that I'm most excited about is that New Canaan St. Joe's game, just because I'm really looking forward to seeing how St. Joe's plays, because that's a team that I think is going to raise some eyebrows. I think this is going to be a strong team this year. But at the same time, I'm excited to see how Drew Pine does during his sophomore season. And that's why I want to ask, do you think Drew can only get better from here, or do you see him having a little bit of struggles in his sophomore year, second year being starting quarterback?
I don't know if struggles are the right word. I think a young man of his talent, his maturity, and the way he is always working on his game, and it's not just with his receivers, it's around the nation. He attends these national quarterback camps. They were down in Alabama for a national select 7-on-7 tournament. He is going to continue to grow, and he will get better and better. I want to see in year 2 now, how does he take control of this offense? Has he learned when to try and pick the pace up of the offense? How can he slow things down? Where are his safety valves? And what can he do on a first down play to guarantee themselves second or third and manageable and give themselves chances to extend drives? We know New Canaan has got the quick strike ability, and we've seen how fast this offense can go. Their defense will benefit greatly this year if it is an offense that can slow it down at times and take 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. I think having Quentin O'Connell back is going to help Drew Pine a lot. And players like Justin Greco, Owen Shin, they're going to step up. Will Rechterman's another name I think we're going to hear this fall. They've got to step up and become reliable players for him. Patrick Metzger is a big name for me. Some of the most sure hands in all of Connecticut. Not the fastest receiver out of that tight end slot position, but has got some of the best, most confident hands. He is going to be a big outlet for Pine this year because he needs guys he can trust. And I think that's what they're working on this summer, is finding the guys that Pine is going to trust and feel confident playing with.
Well, what are the chances we get to see you on a soccer field this year?
0.
Zero?
Absolutely 0.
Absolutely 0.
There's 0. You know, I can't do the soccer thing today.
You can. I believe in you. You can.
Nothing. There's no reason I would ever. The day I get on a soccer field is the day that you can skate circles around me on an ice rink. Okay.
I'm a better skater than you think.
Not that good though.
Yeah, we'll take it on the ice when it comes to it.
We'll see. Kevin, I do just want to quickly mention the former Brian McMahon standout in track and field. Eric Vander Els, who was a rising sophomore at the University of Connecticut, scored a gold medal goal and set a meet record in the 1,500-meter run at the 2017 Pan American Junior Track and Field Championships Sunday in Trujillo, Peru. Vander Els captured the championship with a meet record time of 3:43.16, breaking the old mark of 3:45.72 set by Mike Woods of the U.S. in 2005. Vander Els finished a little more than a second ahead of Canada's Kyle Madden, and Cooper Tier of the U.S. came in third. Vander Els said, "I was kind of shocked, but not really that shocked because I've been working so hard all summer. Beating the meet record, that meant a lot more to me than I thought it would." Congratulations to Eric. It's unbelievable to see him continuing to thrive now at an international level. There is more on this story at fciac.net if you want to read into it. And you brought up the soccer point. This will be my last thing of the day. I am very, very serious that when we go on the spring sports tour, we can have our athletic decathlon. 10 events. We will pick them out. All right? Winner take all style. I'll allow one soccer event in there.
Whoa, what about why can't we do it in the fall?
I'm saying for the fall tour.
You said spring tour.
I meant fall. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I meant
fall.
fall.
Make sure.
I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. So,
it's all right. I'll be ready because I got my alumni game August 12th.
It's
ready
good.
to go.
It's good. I'm actually going to have you come out for the New Canaan Hockey Alumni game and play goalie in that one.
I'm fine with that.
A lot of fun today. Make sure you stay tuned with us throughout the week. We're going to have manager Mike Buswell and some of the players from the 14U Regional Champion Trumbull Travel Team as they get ready to take on their trip to Glen Allen, Virginia at the end of the week. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 2 for Nutmeg Sports.